All right, let me share my screen. In 1 sec.
See it up.
Renee, can you see the slide now? Does that work?
That's great.
Okay. Actually, before we even get started, first of all, thank you everybody for inviting us to come and join you on this. Is it bi-weekly webinar series? Monthly? I can't remember, but thank you for having Renee and myself. So I am Sharon Dols. I'm the Deputy Executive Director at the ARC Maryland. As the ARC Maryland, we're the state chapter of this nationally federated network of ARCs around the country. There's over 600 chapters throughout the country. As the state ARC, we're a small office. We have 4 people on staff. We're really the advocacy arm for the local chapters in Maryland. And so we don't provide the direct services, but we really are spending a lot of our time down in Annapolis with our state legislators and our governor. We do a lot of trainings, and we really are like an extension or an arm to help and support the local chapters any way we can. Renee, do you want to?
Sure. Thank you. And I also wanted to say thanks for inviting us to speak today. And we really appreciate everything that you're doing to promote digital inclusivity. I am Renee Seigley. I'm with the ARC Southern Maryland. I have been there as the Director of Development for summer. This summer will actually be 8 years. I had to think about that. And we can get a little bit more into what, I think I have a slide just gives an overview of what our chapter does, but we support about 1,100 people across Charles, Calvert, and St. Mary's counties in Maryland.
That's great. So actually there's 10 local chapters in Maryland, and we do cover all the counties and Baltimore City as well with providing services. So how Renee and I got connected to this differently is that we both applied. The ARC-US, which is their national headquarters is in Washington, D.C. They partnered with AT&T and received a grant from them on about digital literacy and education for people with disabilities, intellectual and developmental disabilities. And so we are like the sub-grantees, both of us, the ARC Maryland and the ARC of Southern Maryland. So it is a grant-based program that we both got involved with throughout the past year, offering ways to increase advocacy in the digital market, in the digital world. So just a quick, and I apologize if this is too basic, but some people, when I first started last year when we got the grant, when we were talking about it, some people even were like, well, what is digital advocacy mean? So really it's the whole use of online technology. I think we have come since the pandemic. We have come a long way, everybody, the entire country, and really relying heavily on technology, on social media. Look at us on Zoom. We're able to meet virtually. So it's a good way to have connectedness if you can't physically travel and be in person. The digital advocacy section of it really gains support in terms of we educate people and then we help them to take action. So advocacy tools can include blogs. Many people have blogs. I'm a subscriber to several blogs, social networking, video sharing, there's YouTube, so forth. It's very inexpensive to use social media, or sometimes it costs even nothing to set up. Platforms that you can share instant messages. Some of the other ARC chapters, that's how I communicate with them, even instead of through email. It's fun. We'll get into a little bit later about tagging and hashtags and shout outs, but it's really the key to looking at digital advocacy and digital media is it's a way to reach a lot of people. So basically, we recommend people when they're doing it to choose a central platform, and you can also combine them. At the ARC Maryland, we have a Facebook page. We have YouTube channel. We use Twitter X, and we use LinkedIn. We don't yet use Instagram or WhatsApp, but we are looking into that. Oops, sorry. Um, so the world of social media, like I just kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but, and I'm sure hopefully most of you have heard of these, if not already have active accounts and using it. Again, since the pandemic, we have noticed how much more people in the disability community are using online media, online YouTube to communicate. And TikTok, of course, is another big platform that many people use. From an advocacy perspective, keep in mind that for the ARC Maryland, that's really what we do. Is it's an easy way when you're using social media or you're using your cell phone, you can really communicate and understand what's going on down in Annapolis. You can follow policymakers. A lot of our state legislators, in fact, if not all of them, have all these different platforms that they use to communicate and post pictures of what's going on during legislative session. Legislative session in Maryland, for those of you who don't know, it's from January to the end of or mid-April to sine die. So it's only a 3.5 month period that our legislators get together to meet and work on our laws and our constitution for the state of Maryland. It goes back way to like the 1800s, the farmers' law. Everybody had to go home in April and plant their crops and do their farming throughout the season. Hence why, people always ask, well, why is Maryland so short with their lawmakers? And that's why it goes back to the 1800s. The rule was never changed. It's the farmers' law that we go back to. A lot of times we will help the disability community groups to build Facebook pages. And it's really a great way, Facebook, to build grassroots advocacy and staying connected in a very quick way. And using social media, reporters have large followings. It's a great, I want you to think about, this is a way that you can use your voice without travel. Or if you're not a good, if you don't like public speaking, you can use pictures. Picture says 1,000 words. For the state of Maryland, if you're ever interested in raising your voice, because every one of us has a voice, and I think that that's so important, excuse me, for all of us to realize that we all have a voice, we all can contribute to society. We can help our legislators, we can petition them for passing certain laws that would help benefit our community. But I put up the webpage there, and you can get a copy of this presentation. But you can see that our whole government system, even the Maryland Department of Disabilities, has a Twitter handle and has a Facebook handle. The other thing that we focus on too in the digital inclusion market is ways to be safe and to stay safe online through cybersecurity. Secure websites, always if you're going onto a website, you want to make sure that it is secure. You would see a little padlock up in the corner. It will have the S after HTTPS. That's the start of a website address. It has that S. That's another added benefit of security, another layer of security. Sometimes websites ask you to have a personal account with them to use them. But I always just caution everybody, no matter what it is, if it's a text, if it's an email, even if it's in the social media platforms, to be cautious when you click on links. Because, clicking on links can lead you right to getting a virus put onto your laptop. Strong passwords is another thing that we always stress when we're going out into the community to stress. You don't want to use like your children's names or your pet name. Use secret words, phrases, numbers. My husband works for the federal government, and he, of course, says nothing is secure without a 16-digit password. For me, that is very hard to remember, especially for all the different accounts I have. I have an online banking account. I pay my bills online, not to mention all the social media, not to mention all the ARC Maryland accounts. So I personally have like a little cheat sheet notebook with my passwords, but also I use things that nobody would necessarily know. My nephew's address and his name. Good luck if they can find that. And you put some of the symbols. The $, the ampersand, the exclamation point, you mix those in. But we do encourage, although I'm not the best follower of my own rule, to encourage 16 letters, characters, passwords. Also recommend to change your passwords often. And especially if the site itself, Facebook actually this morning came and told me I needed to change my password, that it wasn't strong enough and that it's been too long since I've changed it. So I do, also go on the advice of the social platforms when they make a recommendation. If it sounds reasonable, which this one did, to change my password, you do it. Online frauds and scams, and some of this might be review. We all know in the cybersecurity land that it's just getting the dark web, and people are getting just smarter to gain our information, to steal our identities. And again, we just can't caution people enough to really take a breath when you get an email message or you get a text. Do you know who the person is, first of all? And can you see, if you're reading an email, is it really, it might say their name, so it might say Renee Seigley, but it won't have her our Southern Maryland address. It'll be a Gmail account or a Netscape account that I've never even heard of. So I'm pretty sure then that that's not Renee emailing me. You also look for mistakes, the tone of the writing, sir, please, madam. Please is a great word, don't get me wrong, but when somebody addresses it dear madam, already it's not a personal message. So to be a little bit on guard. You never give somebody money. There was those online scams that are still going on, but people, they say the IRS is contacting you to give them money for your taxes. No, they don't ever contact us through phone and through email. That's not the way the IRS works. So we just always, it's just, these are all pretty basic, but just reminders. It's a good reminder for people that they will do anything to try to gain your trust so that you will give them your information. That's kind of it in an quick overview for the Arc Maryland and what we've been doing with the grant that we received from AT&T. They have a bunch of videos that we have been going around to the local chapters, local community groups, showing the videos that go in much more detail about scams and about passwords and about protecting yourself online and to be safe. And I think I have that in the oops, sorry, I have that in the, we have that at the end, some information. And again, you'll get this presentation, which does have all the links that you can go if you're interested in pursuing more and seeing, what AT&T has to offer. And we just heard the other day too, that they're going to be starting up a new round of grants. We don't know yet what the qualifications and criteria is, but we'll definitely keep this group posted, because it might be a good opportunity for you to get connected to a larger telecommunications company if you have certain projects that you want to expand in the digital market world. Renee, do you want?
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much. I think something's going on with the formatting of the slides. They got really
You want me to
big.
stop sharing? Do you want to share?
No, I think we're okay. So I'm with the ARC Southern Maryland, and in addition to the things that Sharon just reviewed, things that she and her team worked with other groups to share, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of our technology initiatives. Really quick, we can go to the next slide. Just as I mentioned, we are in Charles, Calvert, and St. Mary's counties. We serve about 1,100 people. We have 28 residential homes, and we have pretty much a full array of services for our folks with IDD. Go ahead. I added one grantor to the slide. We also worked with AT&T and the ARC, and for the past probably 5 years, we've had a grant from Comcast, NBC Universal. That one has been great. They're very open to anything that we come up with that involves technology and inclusivity for folks with IDD. Can everybody see, are you seeing what I'm seeing on the screen? It's just like a part of the slide.
Oh, Renee, let me
see
stop sharing. Do you want to pull it up and you share?
Can you guys see the slide? Can you see the podcast?
Yes.
Okay, then I think we're all right.
Do you want to share?
No, I don't have it up right now.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so we used some of the funding from our Comcast grant to create a podcast, and it's called See Me, See My Ability. It's about 18 months old at this point. And the benefits really of the program, you can go to the next slide, just some pictures of our folks using and creating the podcast. Can you go to the next slide?
Yes.
Oh, it's not moving. It's not advancing. Okay.
Is that the next slide?
I'm still seeing the same one. We really, the reason that we created it was so that people could, first of all, experience new technology, but also it's a way of creating another avenue for advocacy, heavily used for advocacy during the session that Sharon talked about and in general. Other benefits are really just creating awareness in the general public about IDD and what it is not, and how people that we support manage
Sorry,
that.
Renee.
That is okay. What's that?
I apologize. I'm trying to
Oh,
get
no. It's fine. Let me try and pull up the presentation myself real quick.
I think I am completely frozen.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine because it did advance to the next thing. Hold on.
The one thing while Renee is looking for that, that the ARCs in general are very attuned to is, people come at digital platforms, social media, podcasts, blogs, they're all at different levels. And so one of the challenges that we found, at least from the ARC Maryland, was trying to create a program that's all encompassing, that's not too boring for those who are more advanced in their online tactics versus those who really were just kind of starting, have been on a Zoom account or, have a Facebook page, but now they don't know all the aspects of how, like what they could do on Facebook. And like Renee created that podcast, I'll just give a little shout out that I've listened to several of them and they're excellent. It's a really genuine, what I felt was the people, Renee, that you have on your shows are so genuine and so willing to share about their experiences. And I think that's one positive way that we learn is how, what have happened to other people and what they have done and what you could improve on or change. So I love listening to the Arcs of the Maryland podcast.
Thank you.
It's one of my, and I mean this sincerely. It's not because we work together, and it's because we all have limited time, and so to be honest, how much time do I have to listen to podcasts? Not a lot. So I'm kind of choosy in what I listen to. So, but you're one of my top 5. Yay!
Okay, thank you. Let me see if I can share now. Here.
I can see the blue picture with the gentleman with the microphone, and I can see the sidebar though. But
Okay, I'm going to go to from the current slide.
Thank you all for being so patient.
Yeah, thanks for. Sometimes technology is not our friend, and that's true for everybody. So
that is very
okay.
true for me.
So now you should be able to see just some pictures of people participating in the podcast, our logo for the podcast. You could see they're having a good time. And then in the lower left, that is actually a podcast that we did during session. We had Senator Jack Bailey and um, some other legislators who participated, and it was really a lot of fun. Everybody that participated on both sides got a lot out of that. Um, it really does give people, our individuals, a voice. At first, some of them were very hesitant to use their voice and to want to pick up that microphone and, you know, be kind of a public speaker, but it's helped people to overcome that. So that's been a benefit, and really just to build their confidence in speaking publicly, in addition to giving them that voice and using it for advocacy. Another tool that we've used, and I think the slide is up now, is virtual reality. So you can see our friend Nicole has on the 3D virtual platform goggles. And what she is seeing is an actual like a hotel lobby layout, and she is working behind the front desk. She receives prompts. She can take the prompt. She can do, whoops, she can select from the prompts of what she wants to do. Does she want to speak to the person at the other side of the desk? Does she want to check them in? And she can practice all of those things in a virtual environment. It was pretty crazy when we first tried this out. It's a program that we also we funded through a couple of different grants, and one of them was the Comcast grant. But we chose this particular platform because we wanted to allow people to do career exploration, so they can use the goggles to go through and look at about, I don't know, there were probably 50 different options, different careers that they could explore and say, yeah, this is interesting to me, this really isn't. And then do a deeper dive into actually workforce training and skill building. So they worked through modules and were able to have a virtual coach that would say, yes, you're going on to the next level, or no, you're not. Let's work on this. And it gave people the opportunity to practice work skills and to be in a work environment without having to go out into the community and visit 50 different sites to see what people were doing. The skill building allowed them to have confidence when they did go on interviews that they truly understood the skills that they had learned in this environment, because it's very real. One of the things that they had was teaching people how to change their oil, which I did not know how to do. And now I have zero excuse because it took me step by step through everything that was involved. And that was just an example of how detailed this learning is. We moved from that into an interviewing platform that was called, from a company called Submersion, which is close to Sharon out in Columbia, Maryland. They have a virtual interview coach platform where our folks can go through rounds of interviews and practice and get feedback from the virtual coach without actually being in front of an employer. So it's been wonderful experience for people to build that skill and then be able to take it out into the community. We also did some tech workshops with UMD Extension. Our group worked with Maria Barga, and I understand she's just taken a different opportunity, but she was so fantastic. This was just such a great program, and there were a number of different technologies that she brought in to do small group workshops. The most recent was about AI, and really we started with just demystifying what is AI, not something scary, explored some of the foundational concepts. They engaged in some creative exercises, and just to spark some innovation. Then they brainstormed ideas for coming up with systems or robots that could have a positive impact for people with IDD. And they then learned how to use AI-powered image generators. So they were able to put in a text prompt and then see what they put in as their prompt come to life. So that demonstrated, bringing their ideas and the things that they had been working on and thinking about to life. And everybody that participated had a positive experience there. I would say, I think we were asked to discuss some challenges. Let me make sure I didn't have anything else. Yeah, we'll go to questions next, but the virtual reality platform that we used, we did have some challenges there because not everyone was comfortable in the headset. And as you've worked with people who have IDD, if people have, often people that have sensitivity issues in general are going to struggle with that. So that was an issue. Just, there are really only so many iterations of the same tech that we can do. So once everyone had gone through something like the virtual reality, it was like, okay, now what are we going to do next? We had to get creative with that. We only have so many new people coming in at a time. So I think that is a challenge. Mostly positive in terms of everything that we were able to do through these grants and bringing technology to the people that we support. But I don't know, Sharon, did you have any other thoughts on that, or we could just open it up to questions?
No, I think you covered it. I think
Okay.
there's challenges on any program that you do,
Yeah.
but it's meeting, like I talked about before, the challenge of where, to find where people are at. So you've got a group of, a self-advocacy group of people with intellectual developmental disabilities of say 20 people, and some are highly technical trained and some are not, and trying to find balance. It was the challenge that we came across. But I will tell you, always there is a good thing that can come out of challenge. There's many good things that come out of challenges. But for this one group that we were doing, on the safety and the cybersecurity and stuff, it was very much general reminders. But then other people, in the Q&A, they got up and they were like, well, I've done this, or I found this, or has anybody experienced this? What should I do with this? So it's always, I think, and I get, you always try to, take, even if it's the most beginning education, you take it and you can still learn from others. And just like with the virtual headsets, Renee, I know, some people are challenged, and it's like, but who knows where that could lead to, that there may be something else that would be developed, down the line that would encompass a larger group.
Absolutely. Did anyone have any questions? I think we stayed close to our time frame. It might have taken us over by a couple minutes, so I'm sorry about that.
And we'll send our presentation to the team, so that also, I just wanted to reiterate that there is AT&T has a whole website developed, dedicated to digital inclusion and advocacy efforts for the disability community. And I'll make sure that you have that link in case you're interested in going on and watching some of the videos that they have created. So thank you
I
for
think that's it. We appreciate it.
letting us attend and share a little bit about what we have done and the grants that we have had.
Okay, Julie asks, what types of partnership opportunities have you found to be most successful for initiatives like, hold on.
Do you want to go with that? And I agree.
I'm scrolling down. Like these, and what collaborations would you recommend pursuing? Yeah, so the partnerships that we formed were really with, well, there were several. There are vendors who we partnered with. So Submersion is one that I mentioned, who had the interview platform. We also worked with another company that did the virtual reality, and I'm going to have to pull that up and share. And then we pulled other people in from the community to work with us. So our podcast used to be in one of our offices. We started rotating, and then we took it into the community, and now it is in a public library. and we invite people from the public to participate, but we also specifically work with a school that supports children who have IDD. So they participate in it monthly. Actually, I think it's twice a month. And that's been, really rewarding to watch them kind of come out of their shells. Also, I didn't know anything about creating a podcast when I applied for the funds and decided it would be a good idea. So one of the partnerships was working with somebody who had done podcasting before and who had that background, and she brought so much to the agency and to the process. Those are the kind of collaborations that I think have been useful. We've worked also with other providers. So Springdale is a big one in our Charles County, and we've taken the podcast over to them. We've invited them to come and do the virtual reality as well. And we'd like to continue offering things like the virtual interviewing to other groups in the community.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we've done. I mean, those are great examples, Renee. We also have partnership with a lot of the other local groups, the Autism Society of Maryland, People on the Go of Maryland, and work with their groups on specializing training needs for what they want. So, for example, in the ARC Northern Chesapeake region, they have a People First self-advocacy group that's very active, does a lot. But they needed help with their Facebook page. So my colleague Luke and I came up and we did this whole, help them to develop they had a Facebook page, but to help them to enhance it, to make it much more functional and really take full advantage of the different uses that Facebook could be used for. And so it just kind of helped their group to grow, and just even having, the advanced page, they got more members to join their group. So I think it's just, using, and we've also worked with some local libraries and done some trainings at libraries for the general public. So I think it's just using your own toolbox of who's in your community, who have your connections. And even if it's not like a direct thought, like a direct line, you never know by even just approaching them what could come from it. Questions?
My name is Isaias. I'm with the University of Maryland Extension. Maryland is online. Can you all hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. So in terms of the outcome and the impact that you're making, what criteria do you use for measuring your impact? What challenges do you face in terms of following up with the people you help train, provide resources?
I can take that. So good question. And the answer is it depends really on which program we're looking at. There were different criteria that needed to be met from a grant standpoint. So there was quite a bit of monitoring and tracking. The good news is that there are people the people that are using it for the most part are people we support who we're going to see every day. So being able to know what they were doing and next steps was not difficult. When we are talking about the podcast and being out in the community, we need to revisit and have been revisiting the people who've used that technology to see if they'd like to come back, to see if they had any interaction with people after the podcast, to see how many times they were able to share it, and to see if anybody had reached out to them. With the virtual reality, we knew that the next step we wanted to do was an interviewing platform. So, we had planned ahead for that, and we're able to have a set number of small groups go through the VR training first, and then move from there into, and that took quite a while, and then to move from that into the interviewing platform. Then from there, they're out in the community actually looking at job placement. And, we like to follow that the whole way through to see, Were they able to get an interview? There are some soft skills, obviously, that are worked on in between just the technology piece, but were they able to get the interview? Did they get the job? And we have seen the process from beginning to end be successful for a number of people that we support. We have others who really have used all of these things just to build their confidence. And there was a lot more of that than I had expected. That was a great benefit of all of the different technologies that we brought in, was watching people grow. So whether or not they move to the next level or use these things to, to go into the community and and get a job, etc., wasn't necessarily the goal, but there was success in both of those areas.
Any other questions or comments or from our audience here? We do technically have the Zoom room until 2. So if anyone wants to step in and share any of the initiatives that they're working on, or if they want to, if anyone wants to brainstorm together, this is a really great opportunity to do that and share and network amongst the people that are here in attendance.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what other people are doing or thinking about doing.
Hi, everyone. This is Sharon. I'm here logging in from Greenbelt, Maryland. So I wanted to say thank you for providing this presentation and just kind of share a little bit about what we're doing here in Greenbelt with our seniors. So we have a couple of our staff who are certified Senior Planet class facilitators. And just over the past several weeks, they've offered several classes like learning about AI, learning how to navigate their cell phones, and there are several additional classes that they have scheduled, but that is our goal, like working to just help the seniors here in Greenbelt. It's open to whomever, but primarily here in Greenbelt, to just better understand and learn how to navigate technology and how to incorporate it into their lives to just do things more efficiently. It can be a benefit, once they kind of get over the learning hurdle. But do you have any, I guess, aside from doing the classes or sort of drop in, opportunities for them to, download a certain app or something, do you have any other ideas on how to create a more inclusive environment for seniors, whether it be doing something in their home to, that's my thought, is like, how can we help them to, just not see technology as, I don't know, too challenging. So, I mean, the classes we're doing, but just wanting to see if, brainstorming, as you mentioned, just if there's anything else that you think that we could do to create just a more inclusive, environment, and not, for them to not see technology as such a, like a challenging, thing to do. So.
Yeah. I've seen locally a couple of classes, a couple of maybe workshops that were taking place in our public library that were specifically designated for seniors for that purpose. I don't know how well attended they were. I think another thought, we have senior centers in all of our communities, and being able to invite people to an environment where they would be comfortable, I think is a great way to start. Getting into the homes is ideal if that's possible. But yeah, I think just being able to put people into an environment where they're comfortable to start with, and maybe they're with other people who are like them, and who have the same set of challenges. I'm sometimes amazed at the seniors we work with and how advanced they really are. They've come a long way. I think we all have, and as Sharon mentioned, the pandemic was a catalyst for that. But I think that, there are others that are um, kind of anti-technology, just because that's the way they started out. And there are so many things that could be, life altering that are very simple, using the Echo Dot to remind you of appointments, things like that, that once introduced, I think would be valuable and probably shared among, among their groups.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
because I think it's also like trying to find the little successes,
Mhm.
even, I was helping my mom the other day. She always asked me to go in, when she needed something on Amazon for me to order it. Like she was always so nervous to go in and order something. I mean, she's 85 and she uses her cell phone and everything, but she's always nervous to go in when there is credit card information.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the little successes that if you work together and slowly, like, so we didn't buy anything. We took to a site that was like, sign up for some free stuff. And I'm like, just put your information in there first. And like, they sent some kit for, I don't know, the car, the AAA membership, the vehicle membership. She got like a free safety kit. So I think it's also just taking little baby steps and really, highlighting and really celebrating their little successes. And then it's like you move them on and then it's not so threatening. And I know one of our groups, one of our self-advocacy groups, they meet at a Dunkin' Donuts. So, and then, similar to like what you're saying is like you do trainings and stuff, but maybe meet them where there's, more, and one of our groups actually meets up in Frederick County in like an arcade area. And they have, a room aside. So they go and they meet and they do their stuff and then they go out and have fun, playing arcade games, but to try to find the places that, like I think Renee said, that they're comfortable with too, could help. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a classroom because a classroom could feel very threatening or very stiff versus if you're sitting or in Starbucks, you're sitting, on the couches at Starbucks talking, and that might help too.
Thank you.
Mallory Burgess has a question.
Yeah, I actually wanted to jump in to offer an opportunity with Sharon. So my name is Mallory Burgess. I am the digital inclusion specialist here in Howard County Office on Aging and Independence. We've been offering Senior Planet classes since 2022. And I have a lot of really effective strategies that have come out with using that particular partnership with Oats because they are a fantastic organization when trying to reach out with older adults. I'll touch on them really quickly, but then Sharon, I'd be happy to like chat separately. Um, One thing that's been really effective is partnerships with local living facilities. So we actually go to where the seniors live and conduct classes in like their meeting rooms or their community rooms. That's been really effective in like getting full classes, being able to like figure out what they actually want to learn and work with the building managers to go into those buildings and offer the classes there. Because when they just have to go downstairs, they're way more likely to attend than if they have to find transportation or get out into the community somewhere. So that's one strategy that's worked really well. The second has been I have been doing labs in addition to the lectures. So a couple of my trainers actually like stay after for 30 to 45 minutes. We do a lecture and then they get hands-on opportunity after with the support of the trainers. So those methods have been really effective at helping them feel supported, helping them get opportunities to practice. They're around their peers because we're doing it in their living facilities and at senior centers. But Sharon, I'd be more than happy to chat offline about what I've done with Senior Planet here in Howard County if you would like to exchange information.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Mallory.
Of course.
That's so cool, collaboration. That's what these calls are great for.
Does anyone else care to jump in, share any information about what they're doing? Yeah, sis. Ooh, we can't hear you.
Is the floor clear? Can I speak? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't know if it was for me. My name is Tristan Garza. I am a digital navigator at the Dr. Hector P. Garcia Memorial Library in Mercedes, Texas, which is way down south in the Rio Grande Valley. And we do have, I just wanted to share a little bit of what we're doing here. We've been doing a digital inclusion program since 2022 through grants. The first time it was through TSLAC, which is a Texas State Library Association. Sorry, I'm blanking on what it is for, but we're doing it through grants. Basically, what we're doing is classes focused on mainly adults, computer basics classes, which cover like how to use a computer in the first place, internet basics, which includes cybersecurity, internet safety, and email, how to use email as well. We've branched into other classes that are they're more advanced. So we go over like Google Docs, Microsoft Office, that sort of stuff. So we've been doing those classes for a few years. This year we started a new one over smartphones. So it goes over smartphone basics, smartphone safety, telehealth services as well, because that's that all of this stuff has been a thing since the pandemic. So that's part of what we're doing as well. So I'm liking the ideas I'm hearing here from some of the presenters about the topics that we can further explore, like with the AI stuff, covering that for seniors. I mean, even myself, I'm not really one who uses AI, so it would be good to teach that to adults. So I like that idea. And with the VR too, that would be really awesome to maybe figure out some sort of granting, because we're a pretty small library. We're connected with a countywide system in Hidalgo County, but it's we're still pretty small. So the main thing right now is we're just looking for more grant opportunities to improve our program. I'm one of 2 digital navigators, so it's a pretty small team we have here, but that's what we got going on, and we're liking it. So far we're seeing the impact. There haven't been huge classes. These classes maybe range from 7 to 12 people, 7 to 12 people, 7 to 14 people. So, it's also outreach is another thing, I guess, that we would like to work on as well, because I stay in the library the whole time. I'm not out there in the community. So, it would be cool to maybe figure something out like that and can improve on that end as well. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. That was great.
Thank you. Jane?
Hey, everyone. Thank you for all the great information today. I just wanted to put a plug out there for Maryland Accessible Telecommunication. We are a statewide equipment distribution program in Maryland. And also, Tristan, just so you know, Texas also has an equipment distribution program. So if you don't know about that, you can go on TEDPA.com, I believe it is. And that is a national collection of all the states that have telecommunication equipment distribution programs. So our goal is to provide accessible telecommunication devices. That includes iPhones and iPads, devices that are made specifically for people who are maybe vision impaired, mobility, cognitive impaired, and to also provide them with the accessories that they would need to use those devices. We also do offer some limited training right now, very specifically for people who are blind and low vision, to help them understand the accessibility of these devices and get them comfortable with it. And we're really lucky that we have a great pool of trainers that Marylanders Online helped us to develop. And we can actually go to people at their homes and meet with them one-on-one to provide this assistance. So I just wanted to make sure that you all know about that. If you need further information, feel free to get in touch with me, and I'll put my email address in the chat. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jane. That's awesome. Yeah, feel free to connect in the chat. Isaiah, were you able to get your speaker working? Oh, no. Adaptability is the name of the game in this line of work, right? Or you can put it in the chat and I can read it. While he's figuring that out, I just wanted to say thank you everyone for joining us today. We do appreciate if you could take a minute to fill out our brief and anonymous survey to let us know how you liked this webinar, as well as provide us with any suggestions for future webinars. We also hope that you have the opportunity to join us at future webinars. We have 3 more left in this particular series, as well as we have, we just started the digital, the Empowering Health webinar series, and I'll put that link in the chat. So hopefully we'll see you at another event soon. And okay, great. Tristan shared some awesome. Anyone else want to pop in? We have about 8 minutes left. Love to use up the time as wisely as we can. No? It's not meant to happen, huh, Isaiah? Sorry. All right. Well, Renee, Sharon, it was so great to meet with you today. Thank you so much for presenting and for doing the incredible work that you're doing. If you wouldn't mind sending me a copy of your slide deck, we'd be happy to share that out. This webinar was also recorded, so we'll go ahead and post this on YouTube and send a follow-up email with that information. But if there isn't anything else for the good of the group, we will see you hopefully all at a future event soon. And thank you all for taking the time today.
Thank you. I just added the VR vendor that we use, just called Transfer, and I just put their website in the chat.
Thank you. Great ideas shared. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Enjoy your Wednesday.
You guys too.
Appreciate it.